And you're waking up with Damo here on 4AK. It is time for our history segment, and that is, of course, History Out There with Harold Peacock, who this morning joins us live from Gundawindi. Good morning, Harold.
Yes, good morning, Damo. Here on the banks of the river. It's a great place.
Oh, it is.
Anywhere out in the Darling Downs beyond, it's brilliant. I love it.
Well, that's it, mate. And I'll tell you what, weather-wise, a little bit of cloud around, but getting to about 26 in Gundawindi today, so it should be a good day.
It's very nice. I'm sitting out here talking to you, just had breakfast. It's a beautiful day already.
Now, mate, we got an email from one of our listeners, Janelle, who wanted to find out some information about a Mrs. Collins that had a bit of an altercation with a horse and buggy, but you found a load of Mrs. Collinses.
Yeah, that's right. The amount of information Janelle from what it gave us was Mark Collins. She got killed, Spicer's Gap, horse and cart. So I didn't have much to go on. I didn't have a full name or a date, so I don't think I've finished this research, but I did look for a Mrs. Collins in southern Queensland who was injured in a horse and cart accident. And what I have found are a number of very unfortunate Mrs. Collins all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Look, I'll start with in 1882 at Barcoo, in Western Queensland, a little bit from here, but there was a Mrs. Ann Collins. She was supplying the Townsville with milk, and she brought it to town every day in her spring cart. Now, one day on her return home, the horse took fright at some pigs and bolted, eventually overturning the cart, pitching Mrs. Collins out and killing her on the spot. But that wasn't the end of the story. You see, her ghost quite possibly returned, because a few days later, the husband brought the cart back into town to be repaired, and on returning home this time, the horse again bolted spookily at exactly the same spot. Now, Mr. Collins jumped out, and nothing remained of the trap except for a pile of debris. So this is one possible Mark Collins. She wasn't killed near Warwick, but she did possibly have a ghostly return, which I thought was interesting. Now, another potential Mark Collins was east of where she was supposed to be. It was in 1906 at Tabragalba, is that how you say? Near Bay Desert. We'll go with Bay Desert.
All right.
And that was a Mrs. Mary Collins of Mindoonba property. Now, she was visiting and something went wrong with the pole of the buggy. The horses bolted and Mrs. Collins was thrown out, breaking her ankle. Now, this didn't kill her, but it did kick off a series of incidents, including a few years later when her husband, Mr. William Collins, was dead. Her two daughters, Dorothea and Beryl, were presented at court at Buckingham Palace. Yeah, these are two Bow Desert girls. And her son, the Flight Lieutenant John Collins, was killed in a flying accident at Archerfield when he crashed his own privately owned plane. So, there was a lot of unfortunate and fortunate events for this Mrs. Collins.
Right.
Now, in another possibility, north of Warwick in 1912, Mrs. J. Collins was travelling in a sulky to the opening of the Victoria Hall at Yarraman. Now, the horse ran into a tree and all the occupants were thrown out and all were injured to varying degrees. Now, the hall later had an orchestral organ installed, which was considered a really big draw back then. So this potential Mark Collins probably went to more dances there, and I don't think she's the one who we're looking for anyway.
No.
But in 1931, there was a possible Mark Collins who was from Warwick, and she came to a grisly end sort of along the lines we're looking for. Now, Warwick's Constable Jeremiah Coglan was on holidays at Coolangatta with his wife and mother-in-law. Now, one morning before 8 o'clock, the constable was woken up by a barking dog at the foot of the back steps of the cottage where they were staying. Now, he investigated and found his mother-in-law, Mrs. Catherine Collins, lying at the foot of the steps with a broken neck from which she died shortly afterwards. Now, this Mark Collins was from Warwick. She did die from a broken neck, but not on a horse and cart.
Ah.
So you can see, and you can hear the motorbikes going by me here at Gundawindi.
Yeah.
But from these these 4 different potential Mark Collins and Mrs. Collins, you could see back in the day it was a hazardous thing to do for single ladies to marry a Mr. Collins, because you might become a Mark Collins and had to be very careful when climbing into your horse and cart. And in the case of the Warwick policeman, be very careful going down the stairs. So for our listener, Janelle, who asked me for information about her Mark Collins, or anyone else, Damo, who has some interesting unresearched history they'd like me to think into, please let me know some key details like the full name and date, or at least a period if you can, because that will really help me narrow down and find the information they're after.
All right. Now, Janelle has sent some more info.
That's good.
And apparently this Mrs. Collins tragically died in a dray accident at Spicer's Gap around 1857.
Oh, right, okay. So getting the date, I'll be able to look further than that. So, Dame, I'm hoping next week I'll be able to tell you about that. Did you say 1857?
1857, and she was
a nice early date.
She was buried in the historic Pioneer Cemetery in the park, and the site of her death became known as Mother Collins's Pinch.
Now we're getting interesting. I'll be looking into that further for Janelle, and let's get more Mark Collins stories or anything else like that. I love looking into these. It's some great history.
Yeah, so there you go. You've got some dates. You've got Mother Collins's Pinch and where she's buried now as well. So that might help lead to getting a little bit more of this story next week.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
There you go, mate. Well, listen, always good to catch up. Enjoy Gundawindi. We'll let you hop on your Harley and ride off with the rest of the boys.
Yeah, that's it. They're waiting for me.
Yeah, breakfast is over. It's time to hit the road. And we'll look forward to catching up again next week.
See you then.